Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're tackling a topic today that I know a lot of you have been asking about, managing real estate in retirement,
Yeah.
particularly when it comes to those pesky property taxes.
Big concern for a lot of people.
It is, and we want to make sure you've got all the info you need to really feel secure in your financial future.
Absolutely.
So we're diving into the source. It's called Property Tax and Gold IRAs, Balancing Real Estate Holdings.
Okay.
And honestly, when I first saw this title, I was like, a gold IRA to
Mhm.
deal with property taxes. I wasn't quite sure what to make of it, but that's what we do here.
Yeah, right.
We take a deep dive and explore these ideas. Sometimes they're unexpected.
Absolutely. We go where the information leads us,
Exactly. So let's get right into it.
right?
Property taxes, they can be a real headache for retirees.
They really are. It's something that a lot of people heading into retirement, they may have a good chunk of their wealth tied up in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't always think about how those property taxes and the fact that they can fluctuate, how that can impact their cash flow down the line.
That's a great point. So much of the focus is on, oh, I've got this property, I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to make all this money. But it's like, hold on a minute. What about while you're living there?
Right.
What if all your wealth is in your house and the local economy takes a dip? Or suddenly property taxes skyrocket?
Exactly.
Not a good situation.
No. And that's one of the big risks that this source is really trying to address.
Okay.
And they talk about ways to diversify your portfolio beyond real estate.
Okay.
One of the options they point to is a gold IRA.
Interesting.
And, gold has this history of being a kind of safe haven asset,
Right.
when there's economic uncertainty
Hmm.
or when we see high inflation, gold tends to hold its value. Sometimes it even increases in value.
So it's like a potential buffer against the ups and downs,
Exactly.
the volatility of the
Right.
real estate market. Okay. Now, I have to admit, I need a little gold IRA 101. What exactly is it? I know it has something to do with gold, but how does it all work? Break it down for me.
Okay. So a gold IRA is a type of retirement account, individual retirement account.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of holding the usual stocks and bonds you would have in a traditional IRA,
Right.
a gold IRA lets you invest in physical gold.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about actual gold bullion or coins,
So this is like tangible asset.
tangible assets, things you can hold in your hand.
This is not like a gold ETF or some kind of like digital representation of gold.
No. This is the real deal.
This is like I'm holding gold in my hand.
Exactly.
Wow. That's got to be reassuring for some people.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in times like these.
Yeah, especially in times like these.
Okay.
And you said this is a self-directed IRA.
Yes,
So I'm guessing that means I have a little bit more control over where my money's going?
you got it.
Hmm.
With a self-directed IRA,
Mm-hmm.
you get to choose the assets you want to hold in your account.
Oh, so it's not like a traditional IRA where it's like, here's a bunch of mutual funds, pick one. This is like, no, I want this specific thing.
You have more control within certain IRS guidelines, of course.
Of course, yeah. Always got to follow the rules.
Of course.
So I get that it's gold. I get that it's self-directed. But why go the IRA route? Why not just buy some gold coins myself
Yeah.
and put them in a safe somewhere? What's the advantage of having this within an IRA?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it brings us to one of the key benefits,
Okay.
the tax advantages.
Everyone loves a good tax advantage.
Exactly. So in a gold IRA, your investment grows tax deferred.
Okay.
So you won't owe any taxes on those gains until you actually withdraw that money in retirement.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Plus, with a gold IRA, you have that structure, the IRS approved structure.
Right.
That provides you with that added layer of legitimacy and security.
Okay. So tax benefits, security.
Yeah.
Got it. So the source lays out 4 key advantages of a gold IRA. We've touched on a couple, but let's go through them. So number 1 is inflation protection, which is something that I know you are particularly concerned about, given what's happening in the economy right now.
Right. And this is where gold has really historically shined.
Okay.
Because when inflation is high, the purchasing power of your dollar goes down.
Right.
But gold tends to move in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it can potentially increase in value and offset those inflation losses.
So it's like a purchasing power protector.
Exactly.
Okay. I like that. Especially for someone on a fixed income.
Absolutely.
All right. Advantage number 2 is diversification, which we've already touched on.
Yes.
But it's worth emphasizing. Having a gold IRA can add another layer of protection to your portfolio.
Absolutely. It diversifies your assets.
Yes.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right.
It's about spreading your risk.
It's like building a more balanced and resilient investment approach.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it. I'm picturing it as a financial safety net. Like if one asset class takes a tumble, you've got something else there to help cushion the blow.
Exactly.
All right, so the third advantage is tax advantages.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about the tax-deferred growth,
Yeah.
but are there any other tax perks that come with a gold IRA?
Well, the specific details of the tax advantages will really depend on the type of gold IRA you have,
Okay.
whether it's a traditional or a Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, your individual circumstances.
Right, makes sense.
But that potential for tax-deferred growth,
Yeah,
it can be a big plus,
yeah,
especially when you're planning for those retirement years.
it is a big plus.
Right.
And the fourth advantage is tangibility and security,
Yes.
which seems pretty
it
straightforward.
does.
You own physical gold, you can see it, you can touch it,
Mm-hmm.
but what's the real advantage there?
Well, there's a psychological comfort
Okay.
that comes with that tangibility.
Right.
You have a real asset.
Yeah.
It has intrinsic value.
Yeah.
Especially in times when the markets are turbulent and everything seems uncertain. Having that gold tucked away
Mm-hmm.
in a secure depository can bring real peace of mind.
It's different from stocks and bonds, which can feel very abstract.
That's very abstract.
Very intangible. This is like, nope,
Yeah.
it's right there. I can go see it if I want.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So I'm starting to see the appeal here, but I know some people might be thinking, isn't a gold IRA just as risky as playing the stock market?
Mm.
Is there any truth to that?
Well, it's a common misconception.
Okay.
No investment is entirely without risk.
Right.
But historically, gold has been less volatile than stocks. And it tends to hold its value over the long term,
Okay.
which can provide that stability that many retirees are looking for.
So that's not to say we should just dive headfirst into a gold IRA without doing our homework.
Absolutely not. You always want to do your research.
Right.
Due diligence is key
No matter what kind of investment you're considering.
with any investment.
Okay, so let's say I'm intrigued. I've done my research.
Mm-hmm.
A gold IRA seems like it might be a good fit for me.
Fair.
How do I make sure I don't get ripped off? How do I pick a provider? Because it seems like there's a lot of companies out there.
There are, and that's a really important question.
Yeah.
You want to choose a provider with a solid reputation and a history of transparency.
Okay.
You want to look at their fees. Are they upfront about their costs?
Mm-hmm.
What types of gold do they offer?
Mm-hmm.
And what are their storage practices?
Okay. So a lot of factors to consider.
A lot of factors.
And I bet good customer support is probably key.
Oh,
too.
absolutely. You want to make sure you can get your questions answered,
Right.
that you're dealing with knowledgeable professionals.
Exactly. This source actually highlights a couple of real-life examples of people who used a gold IRA to deal with some of these real estate challenges we've been talking about.
Oh, okay.
So there's Mary. She used a gold IRA to help offset rising property taxes that were eating into her rental income.
Interesting.
And then there's John, who was worried about inflation eating away at his savings.
Right.
So he decided to diversify with a gold IRA, hoping for more stable returns and a way to protect his purchasing power.
Makes sense.
It does make sense. Now, it's important to remember that everyone's financial situation is different.
Absolutely.
What worked for Mary and John might not be right for everyone.
You're right. These are just examples
Right.
to illustrate how a gold IRA might be used.
All right. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Always a good reminder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a key takeaway here is this idea of strategic wealth allocation.
Mm-hmm.
Finding that balance between real estate and other assets
Right.
to build a portfolio that can really weather those financial storms and provide peace of mind.
Exactly. And a gold IRA could be a powerful tool to help you do that.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part.
Yeah, we have.
We've talked about the basics of what a gold IRA is, some of its potential benefits,
Mm-hmm.
but we've only just scratched the surface.
We've got more to dive into.
We're just getting started.
Absolutely.
In the next part, we'll delve a little deeper into the mechanics of gold IRAs, explore the different types of gold you can actually invest in,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll really unpack the importance of due diligence when choosing a provider.
Looking forward to that.
So stay tuned for more. We'll be right back.
That's good.
Okay, so we're back. And ready to go a little deeper into this whole gold IRA thing.
All right.
I gotta say, I'm still kind of wrapping my head around how it all works.
Yeah, it can be a little confusing at first.
It's a little different than just like, buying some stocks.
It is a different kind of investment.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we've established that with a gold IRA, you can actually hold physical gold.
Right.
But how does that work logistically?
Yeah,
Where is this gold kept?
that's a good question. And that's where the idea of these depositories comes in.
Depositories.
Yeah. So you can't just like stash your gold bars under your mattress.
Yeah. No, that doesn't seem very secure.
No. Or in a safety deposit box at your local bank. The IRS has specific rules about where this gold has to be held.
Okay.
It has to be kept in a secure IRS-approved depository.
So it's like Fort Knox for my retirement savings.
Pretty much. These depositories are highly specialized facilities
Okay.
designed to safeguard precious metals.
Interesting. So, like, they've got all the bells and whistles.
Oh, yeah. They have incredibly stringent security measures,
Okay.
multiple layers of protection to prevent any unauthorized access.
So no Ocean's 11 style heists happening here?
Hopefully not. But seriously, the IRS approval is really important
Okay.
because they set very strict standards for these depositories.
Got it.
And these facilities have to undergo regular audits to make sure they're meeting those requirements.
Okay, so that gives me some peace of mind knowing that there's oversight there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when we talk about physical gold, are we just talking about those big gold bars I see in the movies?
You know those big gold bricks?
Yeah.
Well, you can invest in those. That's called gold bullion. But you can also invest in gold coins.
Oh, so there's some variety.
Yeah. And the coins are often more collectible.
Hmm.
And they may carry a premium because of their numismatic value.
Numismatic value. That sounds fancy.
It just means like the collectible value.
Oh, okay. So some people might be into that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've chosen my gold.
Right.
It's sitting there in its secure depository.
Safe and sound.
How do I actually manage this gold within the IRA? Like, how do I buy and sell?
So that's where the custodian comes in.
The custodian. Okay.
So you'll work with a custodian, which is a financial institution
Okay.
that manages the IRA and handles all the transactions,
Okay.
according to IRS rules.
So the custodian is kind of like the middleman between me and the gold market.
You could say that, yeah.
Okay. So do I have to go out and find a gold dealer myself?
No. The custodian will take care of all that.
Okay.
They usually have relationships with reputable gold dealers,
Okay.
and they'll facilitate the purchase or sale of gold within your IRA.
Okay. So that streamlines things.
Exactly. Makes it much easier for you.
It does. Sounds like choosing the right custodian is pretty important.
Very important.
So what should I be looking for when I'm evaluating custodians?
Well, you want to start with reputation. Look for a custodian that has a proven track record,
Okay.
experience specifically with gold IRAs, and a commitment to transparency.
Transparency keeps coming up.
It's so important.
Why is it so crucial in this context?
Well, because it allows you to really understand the true cost of your investment.
Okay.
You don't want any surprises down the road.
Right. No hidden fees.
Exactly. So make sure they're very upfront about all their fees. Custodian fees, storage fees, transaction fees, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, this is my retirement money we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay. What about the gold itself? Is there anything special I need to be looking into there?
You want to make sure the gold you're investing in is high quality
Okay.
and comes from reputable sources. So ask about their sourcing practices.
Okay.
Where do they get their gold?
Yeah.
How do they ensure its purity and authenticity?
Right. Because it's like buying any valuable item. You want to know its origin story.
Exactly.
You want to make sure it's not a fake.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And you want to be sure about that storage, too.
Right. The depositories.
Ask about the specific depository they use. Wow. Do your own research on it.
Okay.
Look for those really strong security measures we talked about.
Yeah. Make sure it's Fort Knox level security.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're checking the provider, we're looking at the fees, we're making sure the gold is legit, we're making sure the storage is top notch. What else?
Don't forget about customer support. That's a big one.
Okay.
You want a provider who's responsive,
Yeah.
knowledgeable, and can explain things clearly.
Right. Like I'm 5. Because sometimes this stuff gets complicated.
It can. And you want to feel comfortable asking questions.
Right.
This is a long-term investment.
Yeah.
You want to feel good about who you're working with.
So it's about having a partner, not just somebody who's trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone you can trust. And I'll also say, don't be afraid to seek independent financial advice. Talk to a professional who can look at your whole financial picture.
Right.
Your goals, your risk tolerance.
So find a financial advisor who can give me that unbiased perspective.
Exactly.
Help me figure out if a gold IRA is actually the right move for me.
That's a great idea. They can be a valuable resource.
It's like having a financial compass.
Yeah, I like that.
Help you navigate those sometimes choppy retirement waters.
Because at the end of the day, it's about security.
Right.
It's about your financial future. It's about peace of mind.
Okay. So we've gone pretty deep into the mechanics and the logistics of gold IRAs. I kind of want to pull back for a minute and look at the bigger picture.
You mean how gold fits into your overall retirement plan?
Exactly. We talked about it as a hedge against inflation, a potential safe haven. But how does it actually work in practice?
Well, one of the things that makes gold unique is that it's often considered a non-correlated asset.
Non-correlated, which means it doesn't necessarily move in the same direction as stocks or bonds.
Okay.
It kind of does its own thing.
So if stocks are zigging, gold might be zagging.
Exactly. And that's where the real benefit comes in.
Okay.
That non-correlation can help to smooth out the volatility of your portfolio
Got it.
and potentially reduce your overall risk.
But it's not about putting all your money into gold. It's about strategically incorporating it as part of a diversified approach.
Exactly. A well-diversified portfolio includes a mix of different asset classes,
Right.
each with their own risk and return characteristics.
And gold can have a special place in that mix.
Absolutely.
It's like having a shock absorber in your portfolio,
I like that analogy.
just smoothing out the ride, especially during bumpy economic times.
Yeah. It helps create a more stable and resilient portfolio. But it's important to remember that no investment is a magic bullet.
Right. Gold is not a guaranteed path to riches.
It's not.
And you have to be realistic about the potential risks as well as the potential rewards.
Definitely. And that's why due diligence is so important.
That's a great segue because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in our next segment.
Looking forward to it.
But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with a question.
Okay.
If you could add one asset to your portfolio that offered inflation protection, diversification, and a sense of security, what would it be?
That's a great question to think about.
It really gets to the heart of why gold has been so valuable throughout history. We'll pick up this conversation in our final part,
Okay.
where we'll explore those essential styles of due diligence and how to navigate the world of gold IRAs with confidence. Stay tuned for more.
Sounds good.
Welcome back for our final part. We've covered the what and the why of gold IRAs. Now let's get to the how.
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, how do we actually navigate this world? Make smart decisions. I mean, it's a big decision.
It is. And that's where due diligence comes in.
Due diligence, our favorite topic.
It's your essential toolkit for any investment, especially when you're dealing with something like a gold IRA.
Okay, so break it down for me. Where do I even begin? What are the steps?
Well, first off, you got to vet those providers.
Okay. Don't just jump at the first shiny offer I see.
Exactly. Shop around. Compare your options.
So what kind of information am I gathering about these providers?
Look for a solid track record.
Okay.
How long have they been in business?
Mm.
What's their reputation in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any red flags? Things you want to watch out for?
I mean, these days, everybody checks online reviews for everything.
Yeah,
Are those helpful in this situation?
they can be really valuable. Independent reviews from other investors.
Okay.
They can give you a sense of the provider's reliability, their customer service, and of course, their transparency.
Transparency. It's like the word of the day.
It really is essential when it comes to investing
But why so important with gold IRAs specifically?
because it lets you understand the true cost of your investment.
Got it.
Make sure there are no hidden fees, no surprises down the road. Look for providers who are upfront about all their fees. Custodian fees, storage fees,
Yeah.
transaction fees, you name it.
I want to know where every penny is going.
You should. It's your money.
It is. Okay. Now, what about the gold itself? What should I be looking for there?
Make sure it's high quality,
Okay.
comes from reputable sources.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask about their sourcing practices.
Okay.
Where do they get their gold? How do they ensure its purity?
Yeah. It's like buying anything else that's valuable. You want to know where it came from.
Right.
You want to make sure you're not getting a counterfeit Rolex.
Exactly. And you want to know about that storage too.
Right. Those IRS-approved depositories.
Make sure they're using a reputable depository,
Yeah.
one with top-notch security.
So do I need to do my own research on the depository as well?
Absolutely. Look for those stringent security measures we talked about.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach to due diligence. We're checking the provider, we're looking at the fees, we're making sure the gold is legit, the storage is secure. Anything else?
Yet don't underestimate the importance of customer support.
Okay.
You want a provider that's responsive, knowledgeable,
Right.
able to answer your questions clearly.
Like, I'm 5 years old. Sometimes this stuff gets really complicated.
It can be.
Yeah.
And you want to feel comfortable asking questions.
Yeah.
Remember, this is a long-term investment.
Okay. So it's not just about the nuts and bolts of the investment, it's about that relationship.
Exactly. You want to feel good about who you're working with.
So it's like finding a partner, not just a salesperson.
Exactly. And one more thing. Don't be afraid to get independent financial advice.
Okay.
Talk to a financial advisor who can look at your big picture, your goals,
Right.
your risk tolerance.
Okay. So I'm basically getting a second opinion, making sure this is actually a good fit for me.
Yeah. A financial advisor can provide an unbiased perspective, help you make the best decision for your situation.
Like having a financial compass to guide me through all this. All right. So we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive.
We have
Property taxes, gold IRAs, due diligence,
all the essentials.
the whole shebang.
Yeah,
Hopefully you found this helpful, empowering.
I hope so.
Remember, this is just the starting point.
It is.
Keep learning.
Keep asking questions.
Don't be afraid to reach out to the experts
Exactly.
because you have the power to create the retirement of your dreams.
You absolutely do.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into gold IRAs and real estate.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.